Hello there, I'm Bono Fox out of the U2, talking on behalf of FistShark Marketing. If you like what they do for my career, then you can help them out. For less than the price of our latest album, Bono Fox's Choco Pops, you could give some money to those people and they can keep doing the lovely podcast all nice and maybe buy themselves a comic book. So go to patreon.com/FistShark or press that button on their page, FistShark.com. Oh, the sweetest thing. See you later. Bye.
It seems things are underway for the next big live event that NBC is doing. That Peter Pan thing, I know, wasn't the success that we hoped it would be, and we all blame Craig for that.
I'm honestly surprised that NBC is still with us after that debacle. Apparently, though, getting the NBC heads to each have a go on Craig with a cat o' nine tails actually did the trick, especially with Walken himself sort of hosting proceedings. That's filmed, and they might put that out next year instead of their pantomime.
Let's table that idea for later, because I actually think you have something there. We do need to address the Christmas spectacular.
Yes,
and make sure
back to business, yeah.
We have it all under control. Now, we're doing a nativity theme,
Good.
As you know, this year.
Classic.
We really want to bring the story of Christmas, and the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
It's a good story. It's a good story. Not my favourite.
No, it's not. It's
Maybe
not.
Gremlins 2, the new batch.
We could have sort of pushed it into the Tolkien direction we were talking about in the One Ring. Nuva Ring wasn't on board with that, unfortunately.
That's a shame.
So we went the other way with the whole virgin birth experience. So now we have our pregnant women all ready to go. They're geared. They're set. They're all hovering right around 8.5 months, so the timing has worked out.
Now, how did we select these women? Were they randomly already pregnant, or how?
We put out auditions, similar to how we do most reality television programming, seeking women who were interested in getting pregnant. They weren't pregnant at the time. These are all couples that were having difficulty conceiving. Because we wanted it to, be a little gift for them that they got to give birth on live television.
Now, I came in late on this project, as you know. You drafted the rest of us on when it was already underway. But if I'm correct in thinking, just to make sure that this was a scientifically fair test, it's all the same father, right?
Yes, it's all the same father, and it's
and
worth...
that's, again, just to double check.
And
to make sure he's there on the night.
Actually, that's the thing. We don't know who the father is, and that was a very deliberate decision on our part. Because we wanted it to have that sort of sense of awe and mystery surrounding it.
Yeah.
Right. We wanted these children to be able to think that, hey, maybe my father is God. And we'll come back and visit with them, in 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, see how they're doing. But
it's not God, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I see what you mean about keeping it secret.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Stone Cold Steve Austin, while he's doing okay right now, the long-term implications of him having 8 illegitimate children and the possible financial ramifications of that down the road, too much of a risk.
I'll be honest.
So we're keeping it on the down low.
He was very pleased with himself when he was talking about it, but I don't think he thought about the potential future ramifications.
Well, he's, one of those guys, he leaps before he really, really thinks it through.
He's impulsive.
Which
That's
is
why
great.
we like him.
Because it's easy to get him to do just about anything. And cheat, which, big fan of. So, we have the manger set, all devised. It's, we're going to be shooting it in a large horse stable, so that we can give each of the couples giving birth their own space, their own manger to work with, right? And the goal for them is to try to give birth as close to, but not after midnight. We want them to give birth on Christmas Eve, just before the clock strikes midnight for Christmas Day.
And whoever manages to give birth the closest to midnight gets the Xbox One, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. We've got a deal with Microsoft sorted out. They're going to get an Xbox One, with the Kinect camera thing, which is going to be great because we're going to use that to surreptitiously monitor the family for the next, that'll be wonderful for us. Let's see, who else do we have lined up? Oh, right. We finally got confirmation on our 3 wise men.
Oh, thank God. I was worried about that because it's getting close and no one confirmed.
He wasn't who we wanted. I'll admit, we had to go with some of our second and third choices. But I can confirm they're to commentate on the birth as it happens.
Did you get Ryan Gosling?
I didn't. Apparently, he's doing some kind of concert event that night for charity.
He is a bugger for charity.
I know.
I respect it, but let's think about making some money. For us, not for his pet causes.
Right, we're starving too. You know what I'm saying?
It's a metaphorical starvation, but it's still a kind of hunger.
Right. We hunger for wealth and comfort.
Happy Christmas.
I mean, starving for business, that's just the American way. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's the only American starvation. It's the only famine I recognize.
So here's what we did get. We got Exhibit, which I know we're all very excited for Exhibit.
He'll put in the hours, he'll get the job done. He's not going to wow anyone, he's not going to turn heads, but people will look at the night's work and say, he put the effort in.
Next up, Paula Dean's agreed to do it. Which,
she is a sweetheart.
I know. Nobody more faith-oriented that I can think of.
I've worked with her a couple of times, just adorable is the word I would use to describe her. Not racist. Adorable.
And Exhibit, surprisingly, totally cool with it. Apparently, he's got a thing for Southern girls. So, it's all gonna work out there. I was a little concerned that he might have read some of the things Paula has said over the years and backed out of the project. But, no, he's actually kinda into it. And finally, and this is the big get. Like, we didn't think we were gonna get this guy. But all the kids love him. He's really gonna allow us to connect with the youth audience. We've landed PewDiePie.
Who? Is it the yellow bird from Looney Tunes?
No, that's,
I love that bird.
That would have been a good pick. No, PewDiePie is apparently some Swedish kid that, all of the kids love. I don't know exactly what he does, but, damn, if he isn't,
he's the kid in the toaster strudel commercials.
Yeah, that's the one.
The Swedish kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My nephew loves that commercial.
Is this the same guy that played Augustus Gloop in Wonka?
No, I don't think that was him, unless he's lost a lot of weight. He's very energetic. The kids love him. I mean, I don't really know what he does, honestly, if I'm being totally truthful, but I'm told he's very, very popular.
Okay.
I mean, this is going to be great for our 8 to 12 demographic.
Oh, yeah.
Those key years.
Absolutely. And if there's anybody that we need to make a connection with in terms of the Christian faith, appealing and understanding the events that happened around the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, it's the children. You gotta get them young. You have to make them understand the true meaning of Christmas.
So we've got Exhibit, Paula Dean, and the PewDiePie, each on camels, as our 3 wise men.
Right. And they'll be providing color commentary throughout the course of the entire event. We're expecting, it's gonna be a 3-hour live event in total.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to start right after we induce labor on all 8 participants.
Did we get our number 1 pick for the Archangel Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins?
Sadly, we couldn't get Phil Collins. We were able to get Peter Gabriel to play the role of the Archangel Peter Gabriel.
Damn it, how does that work?
I know, it wasn't ideal. We said from the beginning that we needed to keep this biblical, okay? I only have 2 options from Genesis, okay? I can have Peter Gabriel, or I can have Phil Collins, and Phil Collins said no. I don't know what you want from me.
I'm sorry. I just wanted one thing to go right with this. You're telling me you haven't got any of our number 1 picks for the wise men? We got Peter Gabriel playing the Archangel Peter Gabriel. Did Brad Dourif even confirm?
That is the good news. Brad Dourif will be playing Joseph.
Thank fuck for that. Okay, this is still on track then.
Yeah, he's gonna handle all hosting duties for the show. So he'll move from one manger to the next, offering encouragement and enthusiastic support. He went and, I gotta give credit to Brad Dourif. He is a man who truly prepares for a role. He has been taking birth coaching classes for the last 3 months in preparation for this.
That's what I love about Brad.
No, he's a grafter. He really, really puts the nose to the grindstone and makes it work. So he'll be doing little Lamaze, and breathing exercises with everyone as he moves along. And then he'll throw to the wise men, to sort of discuss how things are going.
One concern is Val Kilmer seems to think that the innkeeper should have a black cowl and a scythe, and I've been trying to explain to him that you're not playing death. You're playing the innkeeper, not the Grim Reaper. And he says he understands that, but he's gonna do it anyway, and fuck off if I'm saying otherwise. So might want to have a word with him.
Well, I mean, that could still work if we can just get him to put the scythe down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen Val Kilmer with a scythe. He's a swinger. I mean, he does full 360-degree rotations with that thing.
We could maybe, if it comes right down to it, maybe we can replace his scythe with something with a plastic blade that won't actually hurt anybody. I mean, he'll find a way, I know, but...
Well, I mean, as soon as he finds out it's plastic, he'll be furious. But if we weigh the plastic down, like duct tape some small rocks to the top end of it, it should at least throw him for the first hour.
Which is really all we need him for.
Well, by that point, he'd have found the roadie's table and helped himself to the cheese, and then he'll be asleep face down, having dreams about the Grumpkins again. Is it just me? Or does every single client on our list want to bring out a Christmas album this year?
No, you are not mistaken, sir. This is really frustrating.
I've got at least 5 of my guys want to do one, including Dean Cain, who he can't even afford a cassette player, let alone a recording studio. He's been trying to record songs at 30 seconds apiece on a Talkboy that he found near a dumpster.
I mean, this is a good portion of our bread and butter for the quarter, so, I mean, I think we really have to narrow down and focus on this.
It's not even a Talkboy, it's a bit of a cat. I haven't had the heart to tell him.
Who else is coming to us with ideas?
Well, let me think. Robin Thicke has one.
Oh, of course he does.
Of course he does. Yeah, it's very threatening.
Please tell me he put the knife away at least. I mean, if I have to hear those knife sounds again, just shink, shink, shink in the background, it's gonna drive me fucking nuts.
Well, one of his tracks is called All I Want for Christmas is Shink, 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 and it is just 3 minutes of that. Just the grinding knives again.
I know that's what he thinks of during the holiday season.
Yeah, I mean, during most seasons, he's thinking about blades scraping together. Other tracks include I'm Your Christmas Vampire, and Christmas Threat is just one that should not be heard by the public.
Christmas Threat?
What's
the threat?
Domestic terrorism with a slight Yuletide theme is how I would describe the track.
Is it actual music, or is it literal domestic abuse?
He's got a triangle and other sundry percussion instruments.
Okay, so I'm gonna note your use of percussion and assume that these objects are then used in the beating.
He does something with a xylophone that doesn't bear repeating.
I mean, we could just chop out those parts, and to be honest, he'll be happy with a single. He doesn't really need an album this year.
Okay.
Let's just compile them together and take the iffy bits out.
I think rather than take the iffy bits out, we'll have an easier time selecting anything with a melody and just stitching all that together. And I may be able to come up with some weird chimera of a pop song. I'm going to have to improvise a bit. Some of the instances where he's crying sound a bit like singing, so I can whack that together, maybe put a karaoke MIDI version of A Christmas Carol or something, Silent Night or something like that. Not his version, not Violent Night. I'll get an actual original copy and just try and piece together something and tell him, we're at least trying to do something for him.
Worst case, we just distribute it around the office like we did last year, this album. So Christmas gifts, can't complain.
I am a little annoyed with Bret Michaels, if I'm being perfectly honest, because he too has attempted another Christmas album.
Oh, good.
And I think it's the same thing he tried to foist on us last year.
Right.
He had All I Want for Christmas is Bret Michaels on the last one, right?
Yeah.
Have a holly jolly, merry Bret Michaels Christmas.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jingle Bret Rock. Is that one on it again?
Yes, it is. That's there. We have Little Drummer Michaels.
He's not even a drum. I just don't even get that.
He was a terrible drummer. The guy has no rhythm whatsoever, which is probably why he was in Poison as a singer.
Yeah, and Bret Michaels, the Snowman. You just have to cut the line at some point with him.
I mean, we told him last year, we told him the year before that, a very Bret Michaels Christmas is not gonna make it, not even for the target crowd. How do you even convey the concept of chestnuts roasting on an open Bret Michaels?
It's just unsettling, if I'm being perfectly frank.
You can't just put your name into a Christmas song and have that work.
I mean, the implications of an open Bret Michaels alone is a little bit horrifying. And how is he open? Emotionally open? No, it's not emotional. It's very physically open.
And I don't even dare to think about what chestnuts he's talking about.
Did you notice that he has grafted a pair of testicles to his chest?
Does not surprise me.
Yeah, it's really weird. Really weird. One under each nipple, even. They're not even paired. It's strange.
Speaking of things that have no benefit, I think we need to speak about Ed Furlong, who also wants to revitalize his short-lived musical career with a concept album that he's bringing out, which is a weird sort of biography, if you will, of Santa Claus, Father Christmas. Except it's a kind of strange, he starts off as an old man and de-ages.
Ages in reverse, like the Orkians from Mork and Ork.
Or Benjamin Button, if you will. The album starts with a classical cover, Santa Baby, and ends with an original track, Baby Santa. The middle stuff that goes into lurid biological detail of Santa Claus's reverse puberty is something that, again, very much like a lot of the songs we've been talking about today, aren't fit for human consumption. There's a lot about wiry hair going back into the ass. In fact, that exact phrase is said multiple times over the course of 3 songs.
I gotta give a little bit of credit, actually, because that would not be an easy phrase to work into a song once. But to manage it across multiple songs, I gotta say I'm a little impressed. Does it work?
Not really. For the 3rd song, he seems to have just given up. I mean, the song's called Santa's Little Pink Balls, and it breaks halfway through, and Ed Furlong, just not even trying to sing, just says, wiry hair going back into the ass. And then the song resumes.
All right, boys. Who wants to take out the Christmas meat this year?
No,
no fucking way.
I did it last year. Not happening.
I've done it 2 years
Jim,
since I've worked here, and that's enough for anyone.
Jim, you've worked here for almost 20 years. 2, really?
2's enough. No one else has done 2 years. I'm not doing a 3rd.
That's true. Nobody's done 2 years.
I said the last time, if I have to take delivery of this year's Christmas meat for the office, again, I walk. And I'm not fucking around on this. I am not touching the Christmas meat.
Look, like I say, I did it last year. You'll get absolutely no quarter from me on this. The Christmas meat is just too much for me to handle.
It's just too wet. I mean, I have tiny hands, you guys.
The old tiny hands thing again. Okay, eventually you're gonna have to pull your weight. Eventually, you are gonna have to take delivery of the Christmas meat.
I just don't understand
We've all done it.
I just don't understand why we can't get Craig to do it.
You know why. Because somehow, it's the one thing stipulated in his contracts that we can't make him do. I could flick cigarettes at his asshole for a week, and I can't get him to touch the Christmas meat.
Human Resources really dropped the ball on that. I don't know how it was that anybody anticipated Christmas meat delivery in regards to Craig.
Well,
and
this
thought,
is...
oh, it's a good idea for us to not, make this guy carry the meat, but...
Well, it makes me furious, because this speaks to how horrible a job this is. Because he had an opportunity to finagle himself like a snake in Eden. One stipulation in his contract. He could have had a 30 grand bonus, 30 whole grand for doing nothing but sit on his stupid fat intern ass, or never have to take delivery of the Christmas meat. And he went meat, and I would as well. I'd give up my yearly bonus, I'm not gonna, in order to not do the meat.
I'm a little shocked. I'm a little surprised. I didn't think Craig was smart enough to know that the Christmas meat...
You don't have to be smart to know that the Christmas meat is the wrong meat. You just have to be near it. And we all end up near it because everyone gets a pouch of Christmas meat. That's the tradition. That's what the executives say we have to do every year. And you can do what you want with the meat. Most people throw it out. But receiving the meat isn't the problem.
Yeah, no, it's fine when you're on the receiving end. It's the collection and distribution of the Christmas meat that's truly problematic.
Once the Christmas meat is cut up and separated, it's manageable. It's not an issue. It's the mass. It's when it arrives in the dumpster,
right,
delivered by unseen hands. It's just there in the lockup in storage. And you're there with your shovel, your dipstick, and the full hazmat suit, which isn't enough, and the earphones aren't enough to block the sound out, and you've got to go putting things in little fucking velvet bags.
The worst part about the Christmas meat breakdown is the temperature, right? Because if it's not kept at precisely 58 degrees Fahrenheit, everybody has to evacuate the building.
Well, and that's no easy feat, because the meat itself has a fluctuating temperature.
Right, yeah. So you're constantly monitoring. You've got the meat thermometer, and, I scare quotes around a meat thermometer. That device is not of human origin, I'm convinced. But you're using that meat thermometer to sort of maintain the gauge, keep an eye on the temperature, and then running over to the air conditioner, crank it down real quick, because if it raises 2 degrees for more than 10 minutes, you gotta crank that AC down 20 degrees to compensate.
Paulson from accounting, he did it in, 2004. He's got burns on one hand, and he's lost 2 fingers to frostbite on the other, just maintaining the integrity of the Christmas meat for that year.
Ugh, the worst part is when it starts bleeding, like it just oozes blood out. Ugh,
and
the hotter it gets, the more blood comes out.
And that soaks through the velvet pouch. So you have to get rid of you have to drain it.
I don't know.
That's what the plug holes are for in the sides of the dumpster, so you can drain the Christmas meat. And that slurry just goes into the sewage system, and I'm sure that is not ecologically what we're supposed to do.
That's really the reason, more than anything, that you've got to keep on it, because once it starts bleeding, it really doesn't stop. And I remember back in 2010, we had Rick handling the meat.
Oh, dear.
And Rick, as usual, had something more important to do and wandered off, comes back 30 minutes later, and he's ankle deep in blood.
Well,
just ankle deep, and it's still flowing.
If you're going to walk out on the Christmas meat, you're going to end up with an ankle-deep load of Christmas meat blood.
I can't figure out where it all comes from, because the volume of blood winds up significantly greater than the volume of Christmas meat.
Like, I've been arguing this with the senior partners for as long as I can remember working here. The responsibility for the Christmas meat is too much. It's more than any of our jobs are worth. I realise contractually we have to do it, but at some point we have to negotiate.
I just don't understand why we can't have a Christmas meat contractor. I mean, will it really kill us?
Look, Caitlin, it's your turn. It's your turn to deal with the meat.
Look, I know I don't have the seniority that you two have at this firm, but I just can't handle it. It's just too much.
Look, it's only 60 pounds. Like, you'll knock it out in an afternoon. Yes, it will be horrifying. Yes, you probably won't sleep for 2 months afterwards, but we've all been there.
We've all heard it.
Some of us still hear it.
Clawing in our minds.
Calling to us.
Making us do things.
Bad things.
But you get over it.
Right,
You'll
yeah.
be kicked back with your feet up watching Downton Abbey in no time. Couple of months waking up in the middle of the night with a knife in your hand, not knowing how it got there, and then it's fine.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling, Conrad Zimmerman, and Caitlin Cook. Theme music by Ben Rama. Segue music by Alazar Chand. Our editor is Nick Malone. Get more episodes and learn how to help support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. Now submit and comply. Goodbye.